What up, everybody? I think we're live now. Yeah, welcome to the Opps podcast. We're going to be breaking down so much today. It's going to be crazy. Um, Speaking of crazy, the trade deadline is going wild right now. As a Mets fan, they just got a bunch of different relievers, but relievers are flying back and forth throughout the marketplace. But there's so much to talk about today. I mean, my goodness, have you guys been paying attention to what's been happening? Gilbert Arenas arrested for alleged gambling operation. This star MLB closer um, is placed on leave. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about everything from Bryce Harper cussing out the MLB commissioner and the reasons why he did it, whether or not we agree or disagree with that. We lost a couple of legends this past week, but one of them pertaining to the sports world, Hulk Hogan. We're going to be talking about his legacy and what it should be going forward. I know there's many different opinions on that. Man, we got a ton. I mean, everything from Ronald Acuna going back to the IL, New York City shooter running into Manhattan and unfortunately claiming the lives of some many people there, including one Blackstone executive. But he was actually gunning for the NFL headquarters, and so he left a note behind. And we'll talk a little bit about that and what our thoughts are on that. Prayers for those who lost friends, families, and whatnot in that shooting. And so, a lot to get into. Not a lot of time. I say we just jump right into it, but let's just start with this. Let's introduce ourselves. Obviously, we were missing the homie Josh, but I'll throw it up to my man Big Z.
What's up, people? It's your boy Big Zeke.
You muted, Dave.
Unmute. See, this is why we miss Josh. Josh
Oh,
normally
come
unmutes
on, man.
everybody.
Oh, that's what we doing? That's what we doing.
Oh, I
That's
like
why
it. It's
we miss
starting early.
Josh.
I'm just saying now, last time we didn't
Oh,
have Josh, y'all had me
Yes.
on here talking to
that's
nobody, and I'm like,
okay.
dang, Josh
That's
normally
what
does
we
it for
doing.
us.
It's gonna be that kind of episode. It's
I
gonna
Oh,
be
love
it's
you,
that
gonna
Dave.
be a good. It's gonna be a spicy episode. Barb's
yeah, man.
flying fast.
So yeah, they got me. They got the third string tonight, running the tech. It's all good. I see how it is. I'm not even gonna say my name, man. It's like that. So I'm low
Yeah,
budget,
right.
Josh, y'all.
Yeah, so we got a lot to get into. As always, if it's your first time joining us, feel free to join in the chat. We'll shout out. You can join in on the conversation that we're having. Um, and let's just first give it up to our sponsor. And hey, Dave, I'll throw it back to you.
All right. So today's episode is sponsored by Opposition Radio. Opposition Radio is a 24-hour internet radio station that brings you the best in Christian hip hop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Um, you can check out Opposition Radio from any browser, any internet browser, whether you're using Chrome or Chrome or Chrome. Don't use Safari. Safari is whack. Apple's whack. Use Chrome. Either way, check us out at theopsradio.live from any internet browser. I'm just playing around, but yeah, you can use any internet browser to check out some of the best Christian hip hop artists on the planet. Opposition Radio, motivation to stand firm.
Thank you for that. And
Yes,
so
sir.
we'll just throw it up to the first topic. Um, in case you missed it, a lot of things happened when we decided that we were going to talk about um, this topic. More and more people started adding their names to this topic, which is not good at all. Because 100 NFL players were fined for selling Super Bowl tickets above face value. On top of that, we got Indians closer, star Indians closer. Probably would have
He's
been
gonna get us
traded at the.
canceled, man. It's the Guardian.
Uh, oh yeah, I said Indians, didn't it? Yeah, our Guardians. Man, we ain't worried about that. But yeah, yeah. But Guardians closer,
Oh
Emmanuel
no.
Class, Emmanuel Classe, uh, was probably going to be traded at the deadline. Because there was a lot of like rumors flying back and forth. He's, All Star game closer, level closer. Can't trade him now. He's placed on leave amid sports betting allegations.
Yes, sir.
If that wasn't bad enough, breaking news today: Gilbert Arenas was arrested for an alleged gambling operation. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit more context on what happened there, let me just pull this up. There's five other defendants along with Gilbert Arenas, including a suspected high-level Israeli crime figure, were arrested today on a federal indictment alleging they operated an illegal gambling business in which high stake poker games were played at an Encino mansion Arenas owned, according to a statement released by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Central District of California. And so, he's facing alleged um, illegal gambling. And so, if that's not enough, just this past week, since our last podcast as well, we also had to add another name to that list, Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris is in trouble with the law as well, but
NBA
unfortunately for Mark, a former NBA player, Marcus Morris, and so he wasn't. Would you guys consider him a star? I mean, he was a high
player.
level NBA player, I would say, but I don't know if I
He
would
was
go as
decent.
far as a star. But he was a big contributor, I would say.
Played his
Allegedly,
role well.
He was a
he
role
played his
player.
role well, for sure. And so he allegedly stole more than $250,000 from Las Vegas casinos, according to court documents. The NBA player allegedly got 115,000 from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino via bad checks in May 2024 and never paid it back when the checks bounced. Officials state that around a month later, in June 2024, he performed a similar scam at the Wynn Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, netting $150,000 through checks he knew wouldn't cash. And so, in other areas, I was reading that he was pleading for his freedom so that way he can, play, basketball, professional basketball, whether that be in the NBA, which is probably unlikely thanks to this, or in other, maybe overseas professional basketball, so that way he can earn the money to pay those casinos back. Whoa, that was a mouthful. All right, now with that said, we call this. They got their hands in the bookie jar because we got a lot of players that are finding themselves in trouble with the law because of sports gambling and its surrounding the sports atmosphere and environment. So, with the rise of players finding themselves in morally compromised situations, sports leagues need to adopt counseling and prevention programs. And if it's your first time with us, we take a vote on, 1 through 5. One, we don't really agree very much, or five, we strongly agree. And we'll go ahead and throw it up to the chat right now, as well as to our team here. On a scale of 1 to 10, rise of players finding themselves in morally compromised situations, sports leagues need to adopt counseling and prevention programs. Scale of 1 to 5. And 1, 2, 3.
Agree.
Okay, so Zeke is at a 3. Dave is at a 3. I'm
Chris
also
is
at a
gonna change
3.
his from a 3
Yeah, I
to
probably
like
am.
a 5,
You,
so he can go fire and brimstone.
10 toes down, baby. Nah, nah. But it sounds like we're kind of all waffling on this. So it sounds like we all kind of see, the good. We see the bad in this. Zeke, why don't you start us off, brother?
All right. Before I start off, I just want to say, Jake, son, I see you. What's going on? Thanks for joining us. Um, but yeah, I haven't done too much research into this, but I'm pretty sure these sports leagues go over the dangers of gambling with all of these players. Like, if it's not right when they enter the league, not too soon, or not too long after they enter the league. At the end of the day, this is about some dudes who need to have accountability for their own actions. If this was like hundreds of players per league, all right, cool, I can understand that. But I'm looking at um like the situation with Marcus Morris. He's writing checks that he knows aren't gonna cash. He knows they're gonna be bad checks to get money from casinos. This man has made over $100 million in his career.
Yep.
Why is he bouncing checks at casinos for a couple 100,000 here and there? Like what? What? I don't think it needs to be like counseling or prevention programs. They need to, I guess, teach these dudes better money management so you can actually survive on $100 million. 13 years, $100 million. That's pretty good for, like we just said earlier. He's a role player. He was never the focal point that I can remember of any team, but he's made over $100 million in his career. Like, what are you doing with your money that you got to sit there and find yourself writing bad checks? And this is a guy like, yeah, it wasn't like he like made money big earlier in his career and started falling off. Like the bigger contracts came toward the end of his career. So where'd all that money go, dude? Gilbert Arenas, he had a nice. I didn't look up his earnings, but Gilbert Arenas was a star. Like we never said we can't say Marcus Morris was ever a star, but Gilbert Arenas, that was Agent Zero. Like Gilbert Arenas was that dude for a long time in the league. I know he made lots of paper. Why are you hosting gambling, high stakes poker games in your house, knowing good and well it's illegal? Like what? I don't understand. These dudes need to have some kind of self control. They need to have better money management, but I don't think it should be on the league. Like if you need help, seek help, but the league shouldn't have to put that in place for a few guys here and there. The whole thing with Manuel Clase and which is he's the second pitcher from the Guardians to get put on leave this year. Luis Ortiz was the first one. Their issue was influencing prop bets and micro bets with how they were pitching. Like maybe that's what the league should do. Get rid of these prop bets. They're too easy. It's too easy for a player to look up and say, "Oh, they got me under 7.5 rebounds a day. I'm about to go ham." Or, "Oh, over 8.5 rebounds can win somebody a lot of money if I get less than 8.5 rebounds. I'm only gonna go for 4 rebounds a night. Somebody's gonna get paid." Maybe that's what they should do. Try to get rid of the prop bets. Keep it who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. But I don't know. I really don't have an opinion either way about this. I don't think it should be on the league to put programs in place though.
Yeah, do we have the Emmanuel Clase clip to play,
Nah,
Dave?
man. I'll pull it up for the. I'll get it for the roundup though, because it's crazy.
Bro, like
Like my man was
it's
literally
crazy.
bouncing pitches like halfway to the plate, like making it obvious. Like the prop bet must have been Emmanuel Clase throws the first pitch for a ball because he made sure he was nowhere
He wasn't
near the
playing.
plate with
He
these
was trying to.
pitches.
He was making it happen.
Bro,
Right.
he's bouncing strike one over and over again.
Yeah.
And so like that's I guess what they're suspicious of him. But like when you invite, and this is where I guess I'm a three, where I'm not 10 toes down one way or another. Because I see fault in the league when you invite as one of your main sponsors, got the billboards inside of the stadiums or the arenas as a DraftKings, like the NBA does when you're dribbling the ball down the court. You see DraftKings on the side, right? When you got these people inside, you got the wolves inside of the hen house, and it's becoming big sports. When you got people saying, "I need you to do this from the stands," that's not good, bro. When you got these players looking at the end of the score and saying, "Hey," like there's clips I think of Draymond, and we talked about this on previous podcasts, saying like, "Oh, we're not going to cover the spread," but like in every arena, it's not just the scores; it's the spread next to the scores before the game is going to start, bro. There's some accountability that needs to be had on the league level. Like you, like it can't. Like I understand. Like you want to take the stance like Stephen A. used to, stay off the weed, and now he don't say that no more because they basically legalized it, bro. But the NBA and the NFL never had sponsors for weed. You know what I mean? While it was illegal, they got sponsors for this stuff. while it's illegal for the players to participate in it. And so it's like I don't know. I never seen anything like it. Like what other I'm trying to think of what other thing that you advertise that if your players use the product, it's illegal. Like to me, that's wild, and that's why like you want to say that the players should have more accountability and and personal responsibility, especially when they're making that kind of money. But to me, it's like I mean, I don't know, bro.
You
It's
don't know
like,
what to
bro,
say, do you, man? This,
no, it's like, bro, I could see it both ways. It's like, bro, I want to say like, bro, personal accountability. You have to be up on it, but at the same time, it's like everywhere you look, man. Like, I mean, your friends, they're like, yo, you gonna make the first free throw? You gonna miss the first one? Like, that's a lot of pressure when you're inviting these kind of prop bets.
Well, here's the thing though. Like when I look at the players, like they already won the lottery. Like they're winning in life. Why risk it all for a couple prop bets? Like I don't understand. Like I don't know, man. I mean I guess it goes back to the days of Shoeless Joe and the Black Sox scandal, or whatever Pete Rose was doing, betting on his team to win. I mean, I don't get it. Like you got everything that everybody in the stands wants. You have all of that, and you're like, but I want more, and I'm gonna risk it all to get it. The love of money, man. This is the root of all
Zeke,
evil.
you're so right, bro. But like with the money being more than it ever was during the days of Pete Rose and the Black Sox scandal, how do you justify these players
Well,
like
that's what I'm
throwing
saying. Like
away?
they're making more than ever. Like these salaries, these contracts are ridiculous. Like why do you need to resort to illegal activities to make more money when you have more than you could ever well, okay, you should have more than you could ever spend. I guess Marcus Morris found a way to spend it all. But like I don't understand it, man. Like I'm not gonna throw too many stones because we all would like to say how we would respond or act in another player situation. Like, oh, if I sign Shohei Otani's contract, I'll be set for life. I wouldn't be caught up in my interpreter gambling behind my back and stealing my money, allegedly. Um, got anything to say, Dave?
nada.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
Bro, Emmanuel Clase signed a 5 year, $20 million contract, and he's got club options. The man's making over $1 million a year, bro. Like, he's not broke. He's not broke.
Because it's
Uh,
not for him, man. It's not for him. It's for the homies. It's for the homies back home. Hey, man, help me do this. Just it's just a little thing. Just do this for me, man. I'm trying to open up my little side business here at the, to get to get some tourists that when they come to the resort, I'm trying to get them to come to my spot. Help me build. This will help me out. This will help me set up my spot. You know
Check
what
but
I'm
this
Dave,
saying?
out. If
what
I had money like
responsibility does
that,
the league have?
So the league. So here's the thing: the league is always going to be void of responsibility, and the reason being is that what they do is they say this money is the money that we make from this, the money that we take in from these sponsorships. It's good for the league because it allows us to supplement teams um, that small market teams. It allows us to put more money back uh, into the organization as a whole. The whole protect the shield thing, sustainability. It helps them it pumps money in to help them carry leagues like the WNBA. So they're always going to come out smelling like roses because they're talking about the good things that the income does from from these gambling ventures and these partnerships with gambling. Chris, you were talking about how they have banners and stuff, of like FanDuel and DraftKings. Bro, they don't just have banners. Some of those arenas, they have the DraftKings logo right on the court. All right. Right next to whoever. So, like at the Garden, they have, the Garden logo, and then they have the Chase logo opposite of that. At some stadiums, they'll have the name of the stadium, and then they'll have the DraftKings logo, opposite of that logo. So it's not just banners, man. It's not just the rolling banner on the side of the sideline that you see, when cats are dribbling up the court. These organizations are putting logo on right on the court, which is disgusting to me. I said this for years, fellas. I said this as soon as gambling came in to professional sports. When they cut out the bookies and they legalized gambling, they cut out the street bookies. I said this is going to turn around to where the bookies are going to get to these players. They're going to start going. They're going to start nabbing these players, these guys that are making the minimum, who don't have a chance of have a long sustainable career in these sports, and they're gonna tempt them with this long money, with this big lump sum of money that should last them the rest of their lives to make a few stupid decisions on prop bets and things like that. They're gonna get these guys and they're gonna own them, and they're gonna have them in their pocket where they can get them to help them with these prop bets. And I'm not saying that's what these players are doing, but it sure looks like that's what they're doing. For me, the league the league should have accountability, but they don't, because they've set themselves to look like the golden goose to all the organizations that they give money to and all the things that they help to sustain as a result of the money that's made from the league.
I don't know, man. I would think like, kind of like what Zeke said, but I would think like, bro, like to me, there's some accountability on the league to help these players that don't know how to invest their money well. Like maybe hire a firm, like an investment firm that helps these players make these kind of investments with their money so that way they can have sustainable income with whatever amount of money they are making so that way they don't have to feel like they're desperate because like there's a few positions that a few careers where you can't afford to have people getting desperate when it comes to money. Sports, because of the gambling. I would argue probably police officers too. You don't want them making some shady deals. You want them to be paid enough where they're not like looking past certain things or becoming like the cops out of Gotham or something like that. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
But
keep it
there's
a buck
certain
with you, man. I'm gonna keep it with a buck with you. When I turn the TV on and I see these, you know how they have the camera backstage in the parking garage where these guys get out of their car and they're walking into the arena and they get the shot of them. I'm not feeling sorry for nobody because if they're getting caught up in gambling. I'm not feeling sorry for none of them because you know why? When they're walking in them stadiums and they have those $100,000, $500,000 necklaces on and stuff, I don't owe them nothing, bro. Stop buying all these expensive necklaces and freaking Bugattis and all of this stuff, and go hire a financial advisor. Take your money that you blowing on this nonsense and go better yourself. It's not up to the league to better them or to babysit them or to give them tools to help them manage their money. When they go on to Jacob the Jeweler every time they get a new contract and they freaking blowing their money over there just so they can stunt and look cool to everybody, man. It's ignorance, man. If they know how to go to Jacob the Jeweler and drop millions of dollars on jewelry. They know how to pick up the phone or ask their agent, "Hey, can you hook me up with a financial advisor?" They don't do it because they don't care. It's all about stunting and it's all about appearance for them, and that's why I don't feel like it's up to the league to do anything. They're getting paid very, very well, and they have enough sense to go buy all of this fashionable stuff. They should have enough sense to stop and think, what about my future? What's gonna happen to this to me and my family when this is over? Where do I go from here? So I don't think the
bro, but
league has
like
any responsibility at all.
but like in other professions where you have um like crazy things that people are going to see. Let's say like you're a 911 operator. Soon as you get off a crazy call, you go speak to a counselor to make sure that you're okay kind of thing and that you're able to act under pressure under the next call. Emergency people like that. And so like when
I
you're
get that.
subjecting these but I
That's life
mean
or
like
that's
you're
life or death,
subjecting these
bro.
players
That's
and
life
you're
or death.
injecting them in
Listen,
this situation.
you want them when they come off the court. You want somebody running to them, being like, "Ooh, all right, bro. Yeah, I know you just hit that bonus, with your contract for minutes played. Now sit down. I don't want you to go buy that Hermes bag. You don't do it. I can see it in your eyes. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They don't need any kind of counseling, like mental counseling or babying, to not blow their money on on designer bags and jewelry, man. It's just dumb. Don't do
But they're your product though. So if all of a sudden people don't believe in your product because they're there like, man, this game is rigged. And if we get enough of these situations, and it's starting to add up, if we get enough of these situations where people are there like, I don't really trust these sports outcomes because it's rigged. Like that's a problem for the league. And so like you
Dang.
What did Peasy do, man?
The internet said, nah, Peasy.
Come on, man. What you doing?
I didn't touch a thing, bro. So but anyway, like they're trying to censor me because that was some hot fire. Let me stop. But yeah,
No,
man, I
that was
think they got some
David Stern did that, man. He's like he won.
David Stearns. But yeah, man, I don't know. Tell us what you think in the chat, whether or not you think the leagues owe a little bit more to the players, or if these players just need to, get some common sense. You know what I mean? But we'll go ahead and keep it moving. Um, man, I think the next topic is commissioner, right?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it, man.
All right. So, in case you missed it, Bryce Harper cussed out the commissioner, Rob Manfred, in the locker room, telling him to leave if he wanted to talk salary cap. And he said it in some very colorful language. The MLB is the only men's pro sport without a salary cap. And the question is, it's time for them to adopt it. And so that's what it sounds like, even though he's not claiming. That's what Rob Manfred and the league owners are pushing for, an actual salary cap. Obviously, the players and the players' union don't want that. But what do you guys think? Scale of 1 to 5, it's time for the only men's professional sports to finally adopt a salary cap. 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3. I'm at a 1. Dave is at a 1. Zeke is at a 3. Now I'm a Mets fan, and I got probably the richest owner in sports back in my team, so you know where I'm leaning. Uh, Dave is a Yankees fan, and he's traditionally had the richest owner in sports back in his team, and so we can pretty much guess where he would lean. Now, the Atlanta Braves, however, um, they are not a small market team, I would say, by any stretch. They actually had well, it was Ted Turner used to broadcast. There's a lot of Braves fans out there, and so it's not like they can't compete. But let's kick it off with Zeke to see how he feels about that because he voted
Kick it
for
off
three.
with me again? Dang. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So here's how I feel about the whole salary cap thing in baseball. Um, should they? I don't think they should adopt like a hard cap. Um, if anything, I think they need a salary floor. Like you got to spend the minimum. I think we talked about this before.
I like that.
Um, you got to spend. You got to try to put a competitive team out there. Spend the money, especially if you're getting some kind of revenue sharing. If we're sharing all of this money that the league is making with your team, you have to spend it and try to put a product worthy of watching on the field. Um, I think they should make the luxury tax more of a penalty. Um, that way, if you go over a certain amount, you're gonna have to pay some kind of fee for it. Like you want to go out and spend money like the Dodgers or the Mets or whatever. That's cool because I'm not gonna fault you for trying to win. That's what we all want as fans. We want our team to go out there and try to win, and you do that by putting a good product on the field. What I think they should do is adopt some kind of rule to kind of get rid of these deferred contracts. I think that's where the big issue is. There's no way that the Dodgers, and I'm calling them out because they saw a loophole in the rules and they took advantage of it. I applaud them for it. Whoever was able to sit down and say, "Hey, let's do this." Um, I'm not gonna knock you for it. I think they should close that loophole though, because there's no way you can go out and sign all these big names and have it not affect your the salary for that year the way it should. Shohei Ohtani, 70, he should be making 70 million a year. He's making 2 million a year. When he retires, he's going to be getting $68 million a year from the Dodgers. It's ridiculous. They went out and did that with Shohei. I believe they did it with Blake Snell when they got him. I think there were one or two more other players on their roster. They went out and spent on paper over $1 billion in contracts, but their salary didn't take that big of a hit because of the way they did the contracts. Again, you found the loophole, you're within the rules, great. I think it's time to change the rules because stuff like that, not everybody can do that. Everybody can spend the league if they have a decent salary floor to make teams like the A's and the Rays and the White Sox actually spend some of this money that they're making and put a decent team on the field. Cool. Hard, fast salary cap? No, I don't think they need to do that because I don't know. I, sometimes you don't necessarily want parity. I know the NFL they have the hard cap. Um, the NBA I believe has a soft cap and maybe a hard cap. I'm not sure what the cap is like in hockey, but I don't want at the beginning of the year it's like, all right, you can't spend over $300 million. Well, now you gotta sit there and figure out who you're cutting. And with some of these teams that don't want to spend the money, these players might not be able to go out there and get the contracts that they deserve because it's like, all right, well, you're a free agent now because the Dodgers had to cut you, but the White Sox aren't going to pay you 35, $40 million a year. So do they need a hard cap? No. Do they need to change the rules about these deferred contracts? I think so.
Yeah, Dave, I went second last time. Why don't you go second?
All right, you gonna let me rock? All right, man. So I was at a one. I don't absolutely believe that that the league needs a cap. Um, and you guys might be surprised to know that it's not because I want the Yankees to have the ability to spin, spin, spin. Um, but I think having a cap is going to do the opposite of what everybody thinks it's going to do. I think it actually a cap um, would allow owners to also try um, to have non uh, guaranteed contracts. I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to hide the non guaranteed contract piece under the guise of a salary cap. I think that's what they'll do. They'll bring that up. They'll say, we want a hard cap. The fans, Manfred is pushing this. The fans want a cap. You know that I'm a fan. I don't want a cap. But then and then it'll be, well, at the very least, we shouldn't guarantee contracts. I think that's going to be the piece that they try to use at the negotiating table. Well, if we don't do that, then let's not guarantee contracts because we got all these guys that are, that are having injuries and stuff like that, and these teams are on the hook. You got Bobby Bonilla Day, which is completely stupid. And I mean, praises out to Bobby Bonilla. He worked the system. However, I do know that the line in the sand is going to be deferred contracts. They're gonna kill that. And each state is gonna have a say in that because um with all of these players coming and originating from all these different countries, right? You're deferring all this money. Shohei Otani's making $2 million a year, but he should be making 70, right? Um, when Shohei Otani retires, the Dodgers are going to be paying him, right? And I heard somewhere that they said that when he moves back to Japan, that his money won't be taxable by the state of California. because of
I,
because of how the contract is written. He's going to be. You see what I'm saying? But I don't understand how that works because the Dodgers are, they're based in California. So I don't understand how that works. But there's a lot of confusion there. And so I know for a fact that adding in a cap is we're gonna get locked out in what is it, Zeke, 2027?
Yeah,
2027.
current CBA is over
It's gonna be a lockout,
December
man.
2026, I believe.
Yeah, man. There's gonna be a stoppage, and it's going to be bad this time. It really is, man. It's going to be bad. So I hope everybody's prepared for it. But salary cap is not the answer. Um, I actually love the idea where Zeke said the money teams. I feel like that based on what you said about that, Zeke, about teams should be made to spend a minimum. Teams like the A's, these teams have money. They don't spend it because they get money from the luxury tax. They're just not spending it. I feel like what they need to do instead of penalizing the teams that do spend, what they should do is they should do the reverse of it. They should set a threshold that teams must spend this amount of money every year, at least this amount. All right. And the teams that are the furthest away from it, then they start to scale like they do when you overspend. And each year that you don't spend and you stay further and further away from that floor, then you go to the next tier and you end up losing money. The money that you're supposed to get, you don't get. You go into a tier that says, okay, you didn't spend X amount of money, so next year you will get less that amount of money. And I guarantee you they'll start spending like crazy.
yeah. Um, First off, I would say, well, I agree with a lot with what you said, Dave. But um, man, the commissioner walking into the Philadelphia Phillies out of all the clubhouses in the MLB to try to like I don't know, buddy up with the Philadelphia Philly players. When a lot of those guys got some attitudes, you got some dogs in that clubhouse. Bryce Harper among them, especially he was the one bold enough to just say, "Man, get the out of here." You know what I mean? And you got dudes like Castellanos out there that dude don't take nothing for nobody. Schwarber, they got some dogs in that clubhouse, and you're gonna go in there and you're gonna try to like buddy up with those dudes and try to talk to them about potentially having a salary cap. And that's the no fly zone. I don't know what the commissioner was thinking. He apparently wasn't.
So
Um,
apparently he does this every season. He visits each team. He goes around. It's kind of like a in person, state of the organization, state of the team thing. And I think that this year, him coming in with this messaging about, he's trying to is pardon my expression, but he's trying to grease them up for this salary cap thing, and they're not trying to hear it, man. They're getting ready to like the mob like to say they're ready to go to the mattresses, man. They like, they
but
did it
that's what's
during
got me.
they did
That's
it
that's
during
what's got me
COVID.
worried because we might have a work stoppage here in the MLB in the coming. Well, I think the current CBA collective bargaining
2026.
agreement
It ends in
ends.
December.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to see any kind of work stoppage. I don't agree as far as with Zeke as far as that we need. I mean, I agree with a lot of what he said, but I don't think we necessarily need to fix something that to me is not broken. We got parity in the league, all except for a few really badly, poorly run franchises, like the A's, like the Pirates, really poorly run franchises. Outside of that, we've had parity in MLB. I mean, lately it's been kind of dominated by, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Houston Astros that have been making it perennially. But in the past 20 years, we've seen teams from all over the country make it to the World Series. Teams like, the Chicago Cubs, the Kansas City Royals won it one year, the San Francisco Giants, St. Louis Cardinals have been in the big dance in the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Philadelphia Phillies, the Tampa Bay Rays have been there. You know what I mean? The Colorado Rockies. All these teams have been in that World Series. at some point over the last 20 years, we got parity. So I don't necessarily think it's a broken system. I just think you need owners to kind of like have their feet held to the fire. Maybe in potentially in the way that either Dave or Zeke was talking to get them to contribute to the overall MLB experience rather than just take from it. And I do think like teams like the Pirates are just taking from it. You know what I mean? They're not contributing because they're not even trying to win or put a decent product out in the field. We got a lot to get into. Let's go ahead and continue keeping it moving. I think that was really good, fellas. I think what we got next up is Hogan, right? We talking about Hulk?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so Hulk Hogan passed away this past week at the age of 71. For those of you who are unfamiliar with him, it'd be shocking if you are. But he was a WWF at the time legend, which became subsequently WWE. He had a time in his career where he defected from the WWE, and everyone knows Hulkamania. And when I was a kid, it was Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, right? And Randy Savage. I just remembered the whole snap into a Slim Jim. You didn't even have to watch wrestling to feel his impact in pop culture. He was in movies. In Rocky. He was all over the television promoting all different kinds of products, but most prominently, the World Wrestling Federation. And so he's done a lot in recent memory. He's also um, stumped for Trump, and I know that affects people in a lot of different ways. But what is your biggest takeaway from his career, and what will you remember him for? And so, Dave, I'll kick it off to you. Was you a big wrestling fan growing up, brother?
I was in the '80s, man. Like my guy was. I had two people, man. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
I had two people, man. Bob Backlund and Jimmy Superfly Snooker. That's how far back I go. And so back then, man, that's where like I don't know, man. The turnbuckle was made of rawhide. You know what I'm saying? The ring just like it. I don't know. It looked like the ring was just something that like they just pulled out of the storage room at the War Memorial, not the Blue Cross Arena, but the War Memorial. It just looked dusty. You know what I'm saying? It just there was nothing flashy and fashionable about it. And so Hulk Hogan was cool. You know, um, I liked Hulk Hogan. Yellow's Speedo Hulk Hogan was like not. He didn't really do nothing for me. But when he turned heel and was Hollywood Hogan, I thought that's when I really think Hulk Hogan like really put himself on the map, man. Um, what was the crew he was in?
NWO.
The New World Order, right?
Yep.
And so I think that's really when I really think that's when his acting, snaps. That's when he was really doing his thing. Is when he turned heel. Um, I know Hulk Hogan had some shortcomings, man. I know he wasn't a perfect man, and none of us are. Um, I try not to. I feel like he did some things as a friend, quote unquote friend. He did some things that was kind of shady, and then as a parent slash husband, he did some things that were weird. But for me, I look at it like the only reason we know about those things, man, is because he was in the public eye. And unfortunately, anything that he did right or wrong was always amplified because of his role in society. And so, I would be remiss to sit back and just like kind of um, go down the path about, his misfortunes and who he was as a father, husband, employee of the WWE, and you know uh, I don't know, man. I don't. I would rather kind of reflect on seeing him in the ring than all the stuff that I heard about him after he decided to do a reality show with his family and stuff like that, and his business really started to get out in the streets. So for me, it was Hollywood Hogan, man. I think that's when he turned, when he turned heel. I think that's when he really his popularity just kind of just boom. But me, wrestling, Bob Backlund, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. That's it.
All right, I'll give Zeke the last word on this, so I'll go second here. I'm at the risk of sounding like the homie Josh. Um, I can't lie. I did not pay a whole lot of attention to wrestling as a kid. I just that wasn't my thing, and there was a lot of people, even some of my friends, that was their thing. They really like professional wrestling. To me, I never got into it. I never got into that kind of. The only wrestling when I got into wrestling was because of UFC, just because it was to me it was real. But I always had respect for Hogan just because, like, tangentially speaking to like that medium, he was the guy that was on all the ads. So like, I was kind of familiar with him. Um, so I didn't have a love or hate relationship with Hulk Hogan. Even when he started doing reality shows, I'm not big on reality shows, so I never really watched any of that personally myself. Obviously I saw the movie with him and Rocky, but that was him just being kind of bombastic throughout the years. You know what I mean? That was kind of his attitude. I was happy to see that he converted, to Christianity. Although, when he started doing interviews, it was clear like he needed to do some more study, and his theology was way off. He need to watch some theology in the streets, right? Right, right, Dave. But
Yes, sir.
That's right. But nah, I mean it was just way off. But at least you could tell that he was striving um to be a better person and to serve the Lord the best. It seemed like he knew how. So I give him props for that, and I hope he's in a better place today. But as far as strong feelings for or against, because I know like it came to light, I wasn't even aware of it. Some of the transgressions that he did, because I wasn't really in his business like that. And so I know some people have some strong feelings one way or another, but I'll let Zeke have the last word on that.
Um, Here's the thing. I was never a really big Hulk Hogan fan. Um, I was a huge wrestling fan, but my guy was the Undertaker. Um,
Mm.
and um, I, wrestling wise, I thought Hulk was kind of corny. I mean, say your prayers and eat your vitamins. And the whole time he was juicing. He's like, we can't take those vitamins, Hulk. Um, but and then like his finishing move was like a leg drop. Like, dude, you can't come up with something better than that. A leg drop, that's whack. People do that as a warm up move, and that's your finisher. Um, and like Dave said, when he made the switch to the NWO, like I like the fact that he had I liked his entrance better than his actual performance in the ring. He had Jimi Hendrix as his entrance music, and I thought that was pretty cool. Um, I'm a I'm not gonna say I'm a Jimi Hendrix fan, but I appreciate his work. As far as what Hulk's legacy should be, I'm a say this. Hulk Hogan was a guy who played a major role in a form of entertainment that I grew up with. I still enjoy to this day. Um, the professional wrestling professional wrestling industry would not be what it is today without his contributions um, in the 80s and 90s. Um, so Hulk Hogan, thank you for what you did for the wrestling industry. Terry Bollea, I think that's how you say his name. The man has some serious flaws. Um, that honestly, because I wasn't a huge Hulk Hogan fan, when the stuff came out and I heard about some of the stuff that he said and some of the stuff that he did. It really didn't move me either way. At the same time, I understand how it disappointed a lot of his fans to find out how he felt about certain people. Um, it disappointed a lot of his fans for him to come out and um, I'm not even gonna get into the political aspect. I don't care about that. Um, but just stuff that he said about black people and the types of people that his daughter wanted to date. A lot of that stuff turned people off. All right, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that people shouldn't have feelings either way about that. People react differently to different situations. Um, I'll say this: if I found out that Mark Calloway, who is the Undertaker, if I find out that he has said these things about who he preferred his daughter to date, I'd be a lot more crushed than I was when I found out about Hulk Hogan. Um, but I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm glad he's dead. I'm not gonna celebrate his death. Some people take stuff too far. I saw a lot of that on social media. Um, I would never wish death on anybody. Chris pointed out to me that he had gotten baptized and had converted to Christianity, and my only reaction to that was, I hope it was sincere. I hope it was genuine, and if he did find a relationship with Christ toward the end of his life and truly repented for from the things that he said and the ways that he was thinking, then praise God. Um, but I mean that's pretty much it. I know I was kind of like when we broached this topic and we were gonna talk about it, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do it. I hope I didn't disappoint y'all with the lack of anger and brimstone. I really just I don't I, something like I just really didn't want to give it any energy. I wasn't gonna give it like crazy, bitter, angry energy, but I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm sad he's dead. I mean, I pray for his family. I pray that God can comfort them in any kind of way. Um, I pray that he found some kind of closure with his daughter. I heard they had a rough relationship over the past few years. So I hope there was some kind of closure there. But I mean,
Yeah, I heard that she doesn't want to be a part of his will. That she wants her name removed from his will. She doesn't want any of his assets. Um,
that answers that then.
so yeah, so it's probably the answer to that. So that's unfortunate. I mean, you like if you pass away to have a lot of that resolved, especially when if you became Christian. When I became Christian, one of the first things that I tried to do was to make things right with all the people that I felt like I had wronged or that I had like grudges to. And so it was just like an immediate repentance thing where it's just there like, man, I don't want to carry this no more. I wanted to be crucified at the cross. So it doesn't really sound like, maybe he went there to that point. And so that might be
Well,
unfortunate, but
maybe he did, but I mean, the if the wound is deep enough, it's not just gonna be an instant. All right, I forgive you, like overnight type of
true.
deal. Like something like that might have needed time that unfortunately they ultimately didn't have. So um, I don't know.
Takes two to tango, I guess. And maybe she just wasn't feeling that. So that's unfortunate. But hey, shout out to Hulk Hogan. Hopefully he's in a better place. But we'll move on. There's a lot to get into. What's the next one?
Man, it's the weekly roundup, Daddy.
Man, we got a lot in the weekly roundup. So let's just jump into the first one. Throw them up. We'll rapid fire.
All right, man, let's go.
All right. All right.
Right,
Deion
right.
Sanders survives a bladder cancer scare. Um, Dave, why don't you lead us into this one, and then I'll jump on the next one. Ryan Sandberg passes away also from prostate cancer. Why don't you just jump on both of those at the same time? Shout out to Ryan Sandberg as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rhino.
Rhino, man. Rhino was a beast. He talk about one of them people that flew under the radar as a player, man. Not your typical superstar, but he did everything on the field, man. He was a beast. And seven silver sluggers, I think. Um, he could hit. He's your prototypical defensive infielder. Did everything right on the field, man. Very unfortunate. We lost him to prostate cancer. Apparently, it was in remission and it came back. Um, and I believe he was 65 years old. Um, Deion Sanders, man, he came out 2 days ago, held a press conference for the first time to talk about his bout with bladder cancer and having his bladder removed, which was, he this happened back in May. He had been dealing with this since the off season, I think, and he. So a lot of people don't know. Prime has had several surgeries on his leg. He had a blood clot in his leg that was pretty bad, and he ended up having like 13 surgeries on his leg. If you ever Google, just Google his vlog um, and check out his journey about his issue with his leg, how they had to like just take so many layers of skin off of his leg to where you can just like see the muscle in his leg. It's crazy, man. But it almost cost him his life. But he went for a yearly MRI and they saw something in his bladder and they sent him to a urologist. And it ended up being bladder cancer. And it was an aggressive form of bladder cancer. And so this topic hits close to home for me because I'm a cancer survivor, and I was diagnosed with bladder cancer in uh, March of 2022, and as as of July 7th this year, I am 3 years cancer free, and God is good, man. God is uh, was really with me on my journey through that, and unlike Prime, I was able to keep my bladder. My former cancer, I had to do treatments in my bladder directly in my bladder. I didn't have the aggressive form of cancer that Prime had, and he ended up having to have his bladder removed. They created a new bladder for him out of his small intestines, but it is no means like a regular bladder. His life is going to forever be changed. Like his life, as he knew it before he had his bladder removed, is forever changed. So his routine is just completely different. But he's got breath in his lungs. He's glorifying God through the whole thing. And one thing he's doing that I like to do too, and several of you brothers, um, I've gone at you hard about going to the doctor. I don't care if you black, white, or candy stripe. You need to be going to the doctor. Men, you need to don't ignore the signs of your body. If your body doesn't feel right or you notice something, if you urinate and you see any kind of blood in your urine, go immediately to the doctor because blood in your urine is not normal. It's not normal by any stretch of the imagination. So I just want women too. I don't care. Everybody, if you're seeing those symptoms, go to the doctor because with the technology that we have today, if you catch these things early, you will not only change your quality of life, but the survivability rates of these cancers, is very high when stuff is caught early. So, keep Deion Sanders in your prayer because his journey is far from over. He's got a lot of things going on that he's going to have to become accustomed to with having his bladder removed.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dave, and congrats on making it 3 years. And
Thank you, brother.
we'll jump right into it. I mean, Deion Sanders, former football, baseball player, Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Fame baseball player, and on to another baseball player, my man Ronald Acuna. You guys know I'm a Mets fan, and it's just might sound crazy coming from me, but I legit feel terrible for Ronald Acuna Jr. Man. Um, I don't even know what to say. Like he felt tightness in his Achilles, and he's going on the IL again. Now, feeling tightness in the Achilles doesn't necessarily mean that he popped it and he's going to be out for a long time, but it does mean that the guy who desperately wants to be on the field can't. And so I think it was MLB reporter. I'm just going to read what he wrote. MLB reporter Mark Bowman, will give him credit, said in a post, I believe it was a X kind of tweet, said Acuna held back tears as he talked after tonight's game. He said he'll be further evaluated likely tomorrow. I believe that's today, for a MRI. He felt discomfort when he scored from first on Monday. He lobbied to play today because in his mind he had missed too much time already this season. That hit me, man, because like it's the pressure that as an MLB or any professional sports player you feel an obligation to the fans, you feel an obligation to the team that pays you, you feel an obligation to to your teammates to be there in the clubhouse, to be there when they're counting on you, and to not be able to do that, it's heartbreaking. And so for me, even as a Mets fan, man, I don't even wish that on Ronald Acuna, but I'll let the Braves fan take it from here.
So this year has not been fun as a Braves fan. Um, it started out really rough, and the one thing that we had to look forward to was Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back and playing baseball after he tore his ACL last year. Um, he comes back, and on the very first pitch he sees, he hits a home run, and it's like, all right, the beast is back. Let's do this. Here comes the run. He has been the one bright spot in the steaming pile of dog crap that has been the Atlanta Braves baseball season this year. And to hear him say that he, I get frustrated because I watch, I look at different people on social media, um, and there are a lot of so-called Braves fans who can't stand him. Um, and I got a feeling why. I'll just start with the fact that he's young. He's young. He's confident. Some people see that as arrogance and cockiness. He's a young, confident baseball player, who ruffles the feathers of the old, act like you've been there before crowd that is ancient baseball fans. Um, but to hear him say that he hurt himself on Monday while scoring from first base on a double. He felt the pain in his Achilles, and he aggravated it while trying to chase down the ball in the gap at last night's game. Um, Thankfully, the report came back that it's just a calf strain. So the no serious damage to the Achilles. But as we saw in the basket in the NBA season, if you rush back from calf strains, that Achilles is gone. We covered that in an earlier episode. So as much as it pains me to say this, they need to shut my man down for the year. There's no sense in rushing him back to try to salvage a season that's been lost since seemingly the first week
Facts.
of the year. Um, Shut him down. This is the face of your franchise. Um, and I pray that Alex Anthopoulos, the Braves GM, is allowed to make whatever offer they need to make to keep him in Atlanta. Because we've already saw this the the Braves. I don't know who sold their soul to win that World Series in 2001, but it seems like ever since then, um, I don't understand how they allowed this to happen. We went from like one of the most prolific offenses ever in 2023 to the abysmal crap that we see on the field now. And I love the fact that Ronald wanted to play, but somebody needed to be the adult in the room. And I don't know any player who loves their sport who's going to come up and not lobby to play. but Brian Snitker, the Braves manager, Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, they should have looked Ronald in the eye and said, you know what? Let's sit you down for a little while before this becomes something worse. And thankfully, like I said, it was only a calf strain. Sit him down, shut him down for the rest of the year. Take this L, rebuild, reload, spend some money this offseason. I'm gonna try not to go on a whole tangent on what transpired last offseason, but this season has been a train wreck, and they were that close to making it an absolute failure for the foreseeable future. Because if you lose Ronald Acuna again, we've already lost him for two seasons with ACL tears. Now you're risking my man tearing his Achilles. I mean, the young boy is going to play. If you give him the option, he's going to play. Somebody needed to be the adult in the room and say, you know what, Ronald, we love the fact that you want to be on the field. We appreciate the fact that you feel like you've missed too much time this year, but we got to look at the big picture. You're going to be the face of our franchise for the next 10, 15 years. Is he going to get the numbers that Juan Soto got? I don't know if he's going to get the $765 million contract. I don't see it beyond reasonable, or I don't see it not reasonable that he gets a 10-year contract, a 15-year contract to stay in Atlanta. You want to make sure that you get the best of Ronald Acuna Jr. And you can't do that by letting him play hurt. That was very, very, especially when we're out of the playoffs. Like, what's the point? He wants to play. That's cool, but if the body's not going to let you play, if you need to take some time off to heal, do that. Make him do that. He'll be mad now, but he'll get over it, and then he'll come back healthy and do what he does. We see what the man was doing. I mean, he's having a very, very good season. As abbreviated as it was, he didn't come back to like the middle of May, and the numbers are astounding. He made the All Star team and everything. Um, I don't see what the point was of letting him play a meaningless game in July that could have jeopardized the rest of his career. So
You know what's
when you talk
crazy,
about
Z?
when you talked earlier about the teams and the league should have some kind of stake and responsibility, that's when the adults in the room should have stepped up and said, you know what, Ronald, sit this one out.
Amen.
You know what's crazy to me, brother, is that it doesn't seem like out of all we kind of wanted to have a conversation about the trade deadline, but we'll resist. We got enough to talk about. But why aren't the Braves sellers? They're adding players. They're not trading away players. Why are they not
So
sellers?
there are a lot of rumors around some of the players, like some of the bigger names, like Marcelo Zuna or Raisel Iglesias being traded. Um, they're adding players, but they're adding like names that I'd never heard of. Like I've heard of Eric Fetty, but he wasn't on anybody's radar as a game changer. They just needed our entire starting lineup from the beginning of the year. Our entire starting rotation is on the IL right now. Chris
That's
Sale,
crazy.
Reynaldo Lopez. Oh, except for Strider. Strider's pitching, but Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez,
He doing pretty good.
AJ. Actually, hold up. Strider wasn't on the opening day roster because he was coming back from an injury. So you got Sale, Schwellenbach, Reynaldo Lopez, AJ Smith Shawver. All of our started Grant Holmes. They're all on the injury list right now. So they're like, we got to have somebody to put on the field. So they went out and got Eric Fetty and they got some other reliever that I'd never heard of they traded some players that I'd never heard of. So the moves that they're making now aren't necessarily for a playoff push. They just got to put somebody on the field. The bigger
Do you
I'm waiting.
do
The
you think that
deadline
was the
is
issue?
tomorrow, huh?
Do you think that was the issue with the Braves this season? Like, would you say the Braves would be in the playoffs or at least in playoff position if their starter rotation has stayed healthy this year? Is that the only thing that held them back?
I'm gonna say this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This all started when they let Ron Washington walk and
Yep.
go to
Yep.
the Angels. And
Yes,
then the
sir.
next year they lost Eric Young, and he went to coach with Ron Washington in Los Angeles. And then they fired Kevin Seitzer, and I can't remember the assistant hitting coach's name, but they fired the hitting coach and the assistant hitting coach and one of the bench coaches. Now, like I said, 2003 was one of the most prolific years in Major League Baseball history, not just team history, baseball history. 2004 they naturally had a return to the mean because 23, I'm sorry, 24. 23 was so great. 24, they came back to normal and they just started firing coaches. So now, like,
So
everybody
where
looks
the
at the
hitting coach
manager,
is,
but these players have relationships with these coaches. And you get rid of somebody like a Ron Washington, Eric Young Jr., Kevin Seitzer, and all of a sudden you lose the chemistry that you had with your coaches. And now I was watching the game tonight. Is score is 0-0 in the 10th inning. All right, they start with the ghost runner. Ozzy Albies gets a base hit. Runners on first and third, no outs. Nobody can put the ball in play to get the runner home from third. And I've seen that time and time again this year. We got runner on third. Michael Harris will lead off with a triple, and then the next three guys will strike out because nobody puts the ball in play. If we had Wash, if we had EY, if Sicer was there, those balls would have been put in play, and we're not missing out on opportunities with runners in scoring position. I think that was the big deal. The pitching, yes, even though we've struggled with the pitching, it's not the starting pitching, it's the bullpen. They didn't make any moves for the bullpen this year. So if we want to talk about what's going on with the Braves, lack of clutch hitting, the bullpen issues. I don't know how many times I've seen starters leave with the lead and watch the lead just dwindle away. We lost the game where we were winning 11 zip. We lost 12 to 11. And
That's
it's like
crazy.
the starter comes out of the game in the seventh inning and we lose an 11-run lead because
AZ.
the bullpen is trash. What's up, Dave?
Where's your hitting coach at now?
Oh, he's in Seattle where Cal Raleigh is having the best year of his career. I
Yeah,
don't think it's a coincidence.
no, it's not. That's why I
I
asked
don't
you.
think it's a coincidence. That's
Not at
this is
all.
rude, Dave. You knew where he was. You knew where he was.
Yeah, it was crazy because like one of the topics we were talking about franchises like the Pittsburgh, um, the Pirates and the A's, and you would never think that a franchise I think is one of the most intelligent franchises in all of baseball, Atlanta Braves, as far as like how they locked up all their key, very talented young players for a long time. I thought it was brilliant. To be struggling that bad to the point where the A's and the Pirates got better records than the Braves. You would
Here's
never
here's the
think
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. Anybody that you talk to that's been to Atlanta to a baseball game, what do they say? Oh, the battery. The battery is beautiful. The battery is the area around the stadium that the team has put so much money into. You got restaurants and movie theaters and nightclubs. I've been down there. I'm sure it's
I'll
gotten
be
much
there in two
better in
weeks.
the 6 years since I've been down there. They put all this money into the surrounding area. They forgot about the product on the field. It's like, cool, you got the battery and you got all these restaurants and these nightclubs and everything, but if nobody's coming to the game because the team on the field is trash, who's coming to that area? You're gonna have a bunch of empty buildings because nobody wants to go and be around that trash. You got to invest in your team. Like it's just, I miss Ted Turner. I'll say that Ted Turner would have spent some money. Now it's like, yeah,
He just would have named
we
everything
locked
after
all these
himself,
players
though.
up when they were young, but you don't think Acuna's gonna be like, yo, y'all had me for a good chunk of my career on this discount. I want to get paid. Austin Riley, who else? Ozzy Albies. Unless he has some kind of bounce back for the rest of this year and the beginning of next year, I don't know what we're gonna do with him. But even that contract, 7 years, $35 million. That's ridiculously cheap for Ozzy Albies.
I don't think
So
He
Ozzy
yeah,
Albies
is.
gonna sign with y'all, man.
what happened?
I don't think he's gonna re-sign with y'all
I'd be surprised if he did.
because they,
I mean,
you know,
we lost Freddie
they
and every. I
lowballed him.
mean, we lost Freddie, we lost Dansby, we lost Max Fried. Who's next? Who's next?
Yeah, that's surprising too, because it's like you would think they'd be able to afford those guys with the amount of great decisions that franchise made. Austin Riley, Ozzy Albies, Ronald Acuna. These guys are not an arm and a leg like they you would think they would be. But they made some
Well,
really
like you
smart
said, we got him
choices.
young. I mean, it's similar to that contract that what's that player's name? I don't think it was Corbin Carroll. Who signed that contract? Oh, the center fielder from the Padres, Jackson Merrill. He
Yeah,
signed a long term contract
yeah.
for cheap, And everybody was like, "What are you doing?" I think it was like 15 mil a year or something like that. He was like, "Look, I want to be here. They offer me good money. I'm gonna take it." Um, so you got these players young, but like I said, eventually that bill is gonna be due, and I think it might bite us in the butt. I mean, yeah, we won the 21 World Series, but everything fell into place that year. That was the year. That was the first time we lost Acuna to to an ACL. I remember because we were actually on our way down to Virginia, and I was mad about coming to see you because we had just lost Acuna, so I wasn't feeling that.
And
But
the trade deadline is heating up, bro. Like John Duran just went to the
nobody
Phillies.
cares. Nobody
Mike
cares.
Soroka
Boo,
went from the Nets to the
boo,
Cubs. Um,
boo. Baseball season's over. Training
Baseball
camp
season is
started.
not over just because the Braves. Stop it! Like, just stop it, Zeke. You're not going to boo us off this topic like you've done before, okay? Like, we're talking baseball, bro. But yeah, it's been a lot of moves. Halsey went from the Cardinals to the Mets, as well as the side armor. Uh, Rogers went to the
Yeah,
Mets,
yeah,
which
yeah. We all saw the moves. Next topic.
and so
Mets aren't
Zeke,
winning the World Series, bro.
Zeke,
The
Zeke,
Mets aren't winning the World
behave,
Series.
behave,
Is this gonna end in another disappointment for look, Peasy, I don't care
bro.
how bad the Braves are. The Mets are still gonna Met.
Be it as it may, this is a sports cast. We're gonna talk baseball, bro. Pipe down. Like, all right. Well, that was basically the main people that got moved today. Anyway, I know that they're still expecting some other players to be on the move. We'll see who gets what. I know the Yankees made some trades as well. I know Carrasco went to the Braves. Surprisingly, I didn't even know Carrasco was on the Yankees. Um,
They
but
got Ryan
what team?
McMahon from the Rockies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know
He
So
what?
gonna do well with the
McMahon is
short porch.
he's pretty dope too, man. The third baseman,
He is.
man, he's been like he strikes out a lot, but his defense is ridiculous. His glove has been playing the last couple of days, so I'm really impressed with him. We actually got a third baseman. I don't know why Brian Cashman keeps getting outfielders, man. I don't know if he's if he's setting up some moves. Um, my heart tells me he's doing absolutely nothing like he always does. So I'm not interested in the trade deadline. I have no hopes, no dreams, no aspirations, other than never mind. Um, never mind.
you know what's crazy? In other news, you know who definitely won't be reporting on anything happening in sports from ESPN?
Oh, let me
Shannon
guess.
Sharp.
Shannon Sharp, who was just fired from ESPN.
He'll be all
Dunzo.
right.
But you know what's crazy?
Why did they fire him?
He finally settled his lawsuit with he settled out of court with that lady that accused him of sexual harassment. As soon as that became final, they let him go. I guess what they were hoping for, I guess why they kept him around that long is that maybe he would win that lawsuit and he'd be proven not guilty. And maybe they didn't do like the same mistake they've done with some of those other stars, like a Johnny Depp, where they just assume guilt on allegations, and then all of a sudden, boom, oh, he's not guilty, and now we can't make a new Pirates because we just played ourselves. And so maybe they took that approach with Shannon Sharp, and then once he settled, it was they're like, yeah, this dude is a scumbag, and they just decided to like fire him.
Scumbag, dang.
God Almighty,
God dog,
that's
Chris.
Yeah.
crazy, man.
So,
Scumbag is wild.
bro, but they let go of they got a big shakeup happening at ESPN. They also let go of homegirl used to be on Colin Cowherd's show. I used to like Colin's show. I forget her name. Um,
Joy
what's that
Taylor.
girl? Joy
Joy
Taylor.
Taylor was
Yeah,
Fox.
she's from FS1
Oh,
though.
she.
That was
Oh,
Fox
that's right.
Sports.
She was on Fox. They let go of
Yeah.
Joy Taylor, and then it was reported in the news that she might go on Gilbert Arenas' growing podcast, and that he might pick her up. And then
Yeah. No,
breaking
he's
news
around.
today. Now he's
Are you gonna
arrested.
pick her up and have her work in poker games? Come
I
on.
mean, he's got a growing podcast where it's starting to pick up traction, and so they were there
Is
like,
I
well,
don't think
is she
so.
gonna go? Yeah, but I mean, she got fired from Fox, and ESPN is probably not going to pick her up. And so they were like, where they were speculating where she was going to go because they're
I'm
like,
talking about
what?
Gil, man. Didn't you just say Gilbert Arenas got arrested?
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
just got arrested. Yeah,
That's Fed stuff, man.
oh yeah,
yeah.
he's going to be in trouble. It's
He
going to
might be
be
sharing a
interesting to see
cell
what
with
happens.
Diddy in a minute.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know we wanted also to get into the first
Bubba Wallace.
African, yeah, Bubba Wallace, first African American, right?
Yeah,
Or was
to
it
win the
first black?
Brickyard
He won the
400.
Brickyard 400.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm a Lewis
Bubba
Hamilton fan, man. I'm not,
Lewis
congratulations to
Hamilton is
Bubba Wallace.
F1. It's a
I
completely
know,
different
man.
sport.
I'm just saying, man. You know,
I'm not.
Bubba's been a little weird to me, man. He just a couple things with Bubba that I don't really rock with, man. But
Like
congratulations,
what, Dave? Nah, speak on it, Dave. Like what?
man. I'm just, I don't
Or is this
I
more of a
don't want to
tats
steal the
conversation?
shine, man. Congratulations to the brother, man. He won the Brickyard 400, first brother to do it. I don't want to take his thunder away from him. I'm just more of a Lewis Hamilton fan, man. You know what I'm
See, now
saying?
I'm curious about what you was gonna say because
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't,
we'll talk afterwards.
bro. I really don't know anything about like racing. I don't follow racing like that.
Look, all you need to know
I like
is
to go watch racing, but I don't follow it. I like to watch it
anybody
in
who
person.
knows anything about NASCAR knows it has deep roots in the South. And here comes a black man uh, complaining about noose that was
Oh
allegedly in his garage the one year. He's been seen pre-race wearing the Black Lives Matter T-shirt. He was very integral in the Confederate flag being banned from NASCAR races, which you don't mess with the stars and bars with them boys that like to watch the circle track races. So he came in rough with some feathers. I would say kind of like Jeff Gordon back in the day, this old California sunshine boy coming through and ruling the redneck track. But I think it was on a different level why people it wasn't liking Bubba. So to be a black man in that sport and have any kind of success in Indiana, where we all know, I mean, Indiana ain't necessarily the South, but yeah, they got they got a bad reputation too. So it was a significant win. It was.
home of the Colts, baby. But I'll tell you what, the only only reason I even know who Bubba is because of the whole noose incident where he was just there like, yeah, they trying to noose me, and they found out it was like everywhere or something. Like, bro, that's just like part of every like garage or something like that. It's,
Yeah, I think somebody put the battery in his back on that one and watched him flounder.
Yeah,
He got
that's
caught
what
up.
that's what rubbed me the wrong way was the whole news thing, man. Because like when you go around the garage, the whole thing was well in that particular stall, that thing had been there for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And
I
they had
mean,
actual
when you look at it though, like I've seen ropes that you use to pull down garage doors. That was a very specifically tied rope, bro. I mean, I could see where the confusion was if you didn't know that had been there for a few years.
yeah, but it was
But at the same time, he
yeah,
did make a big stink out of it, and they
yeah,
yeah,
was
my
like,
man,
man
"Ha,
is
jokes
seeing
on you." So
nooses
he fell for the
everywhere.
banana in the tailpipe.
he did,
But
man.
That's right.
yeah,
That's
He
right.
ran with it and he stood on business with it. And that's what disappointed me, man. It was just like, come on, man. They threw you a lifeline and you still gonna stand on that. And it's like, come on, man, really? So that's kind of what rubbed me the wrong way. You know,
but he was young,
he
Dave. He's
was, man. I
learned
mean, I
from
get
it,
it. I get it, man. I get it. He got led
and he's
astray.
racing for the goat now. So
Huh?
that's my man. He's racing for the goat now. He's on Michael Jordan's racing team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
either way,
go Bubba.
shout out to Bubba Wallace for making history. Um, history in kind of like a bad way was made earlier this week when an armed gunman ran into Manhattan. I believe it was like with an AK and started shooting up the shared headquarters of not just the NFL, but it was also shared with other places like Blackstone. A note was later found on the gunman's person stating that allegedly he had, or at least he felt he had CTE, and he holds the NFL responsible. So although he was trying to shoot up the NFL headquarters allegedly, he actually ran into Blackstone, where one of their executives lost their life among other people. And so I don't know how you guys feel about this, but CTE can make you do some crazy things that we found. A lot of people who have CTE ended up, committing suicide or, just acting out of character. I mean, you got instances with Junior Seau, is the one that comes to my mind immediately, but there's been other examples of that. I think it was like, what was it? Was it Bill Romanowski? What was the other guy? Um, I think it was somebody from the Raiders, but like that ended up taking their life, and then it was later found that they have CTE, which is a brain condition that can only be studied after the person is dead, and they slice your brain in half to find out, what exactly was going on there. And so, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like the NFL has taken some crazy strides to protect their players from this kind of brain injury. I think they've done everything they can within reasonable standards, trying to improve the type of helmets to immediate, like 2 week, standby when someone suffers a concussion. Immediately, even suspicion of a concussion, they go into a blue tent. And I'm old enough to remember, which is not very long ago, where you get popped really bad, and just they're like, oh, he just got shook up a little bit. Get him back out there. Can he see? All right, how
Got your
many
bell
fingers?
wrong.
You know what I mean? You just got your bell rung. Get back out there, right? I'm old enough to remember that. I'm also old enough to remember probably my favorite sports segment on
Jacked
ESPN,
up.
Jacked Up. And you would see these dudes running over the middle and absolutely getting obliterated. Talk about defenses receivers, which is why like being a wide receiver is just fantastic in this modern NFL, because you don't get blasted like you used to get blasted. You jump up to catch a ball that was misthrown by your quarterback, you might lose your life. And so, like, quarterbacks were trained, like, man, you can't throw that pass because you're going to get your receiver destroyed. And they can get away with those kind of passes in today's NFL because they're not going to get their receiver destroyed. The receiver has to jump up and catch it, jump up and catch it. It's no problem. You're not going to get cracked. You couldn't do that back in the day. And so, like, the NFL has come some great ways. Um, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but to me, this just wild. Like, someone would have that kind of animosity and a personal vendetta towards the NFL, given the way that they've handled it throughout the years. But I'll turn the floor over to one of you guys if you guys kind of have a bit different take or opinion on that.
Well, I'll just say this much. I'll defer most of my time to Zeke on this. I saw the movie with Will Smith. Zeke. I saw the movie with Will Smith in it about CTE, and I think the NFL has done a lot. They need to do more. There needs to be more done. Um, you know, from a health, from a um, healthcare and after career health programs for these players. Um, and I don't think they're doing enough. I think too much is not enough. Did Peasy just
Did we
disappear?
lose him again?
What is going on with Peasy? I need him back in here. Hold on a second. Are you there, Peasy?
I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm back.
All right, you back.
Dude,
So
I heard you the whole time,
pay
though.
your Wi-Fi bill, man.
all
It
right.
just took me off the screen for a second, but I heard everything.
So yeah, so I think that they need to be doing more. And just for my last part of this, I know you're gonna love this, Chris, but the Yankees just walked it off against the Rays. McMahon just had his Yankee moment. In extra innings, 11th inning, hit a home run to bring in Jazz Chisholm to
Was
win
it
it.
to the short porch?
It was dead center field to Monument Park.
Okay, all right. Dead center field. That's legit.
Nah,
He
bro. Nah. Nah, I'm not
murdered.
happy about that because I wanted the Yankees to beat the Phillies and y'all lost 2 out of 3. So
You did.
nah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Y'all needed to sweep them.
It's okay.
So
It's
you
okay.
wanted the Yankees to do your dirty work for you? Dang,
Yeah. We
dang.
New York. We're supposed to help each other out.
Yeah,
Nah,
all
y'all
right.
still little brother.
All right. So go ahead, Zeke, on the CTE thing. And by the way, PZ, I don't know how that's historical because you said in another historical thing. How is this dude running up into the building historical, man? It wasn't
It's
like
a, it's, a,
he was
it's just
John
a
Wilkes
moment in
Booth.
history. Just a moment that will be remembered in history.
People
You
gonna
know what I
forget
mean?
about that by the next year, man. I promise you. They don't care.
Unfortunately, because
They
it
That's
don't
becomes
care.
sad.
And that's
commonplace.
why
People
nothing
running
gets
around with a gun
done.
shooting
That's why
people.
nothing gets done about it.
But I mean,
It's
I really don't have. I don't have much to say about this. It's unfortunate that those people lost their lives. Um, we've seen the effects of CTE. One of our earlier episodes was about BJ Penn and the way he's suffering. Um, we all saw that how Junior Seau suffered. He ended up taking his own life. Um,
mhm.
Chris Benoit, famous wrestler, we were talking about wrestling earlier. He had real bad CTE where he ended up killing his wife and his son, and then eventually taking his own life. Um, CTE is a very dangerous thing. Excuse me. And like you said, the NFL has made strides in trying to protect their players, and so has WWE. They've cut back on the amount of chair shots these dudes are taking to the head. Um, they're being trying to be real careful about the bumps that they're taking, while making it as entertaining and make it look as real as possible. Um, it is real. It's scripted, but it's real. We're not gonna go into that conversation. Um, but yeah, I mean, uh, I don't know. I mean, I hate to be the you know what you're signing up for type of dude, but a lot of these things that a lot of these sports where there's a lot of physical toll on your body, you kind of know what you're signing up for. So it's unfortunate that this man um, felt that he has CT. Like you said, you can't study it, you can't
No.
really diagnose it until he's gone. So um, this is gonna sound bad. Hopefully, he did have CTE, and he wasn't just some
Right.
nutcase with a gun, um, and some other issues, because then it makes those people's deaths even more tragic, um, if that's possible.
Yeah.
But it'd be
I
interesting to
want,
find if he actually did have CTE, or if he had just some other psychological issues that caused him to do something like this. Very unfortunate.
it's interesting because he wouldn't be the first person to speculate that he has CTE. You know what I mean? There's been
Antonio
other
Brown.
players, yeah, that speculate that they actually have it. And it just makes you wonder, like, if it's not something that's truly diagnosable until after death, maybe there's symptoms that these guys are kind of catching on to that maybe if you even can't make it official until after death, maybe there's a way to kind of like, catch the signs that, somebody has that so that way you don't have to wait until after they pass away. So hopefully we can make strides on that. Speaking of CTE though, man, like what this we'll probably end the show with this. Um, Browns owner. I just wanted to talk about and throw this in there. The Browns owner, Jimmy Haslam. Like what is wrong with this dude?
He's
Um,
just old and rambling, man. That's
the
it.
dude is just
He's an
rambling.
old
He
he's an
made
old billionaire, and he nobody ever told him no. He's just saying whatever he want to say. That's it.
The man has made multiple comments this week that is just insane to me. But the one that that caught my eye was just they're like, why? Like, even if this is true, why? Why are you putting this out there? But Browns owner Jimmy Haslam says that regarding Shador Sanders, that if you would have told me y'all were going to pick Shador, I would say that's not happening. Andrew Berry made the call to pick Shador. And so he clearly is separating himself from that pick and putting it all on his GM. Is just they're like, man, if this flops, which clearly it looks like he thinks it probably will, this is all on the GM. This ain't on me. Which is like, bro, like all of your quarterback picks flop. Like, why?
Right.
Why are you? What? Maybe it's a culture thing. Because even when your quarterback picks flop, the most like notable one I could think of in recent memory is Baker Mayfield. He flopped with you, not in the NFL.
The
The
number one
man might
pick.
He was the number one pick, and the man is still playing in the NFL at a high level. Many
Thriving.
people, including myself, would put Baker Mayfield probably within the top 10 of NFL quarterbacks. You had him on your team,
Yeah.
right? And so to me, it's crazy, bro. But maybe this is happening because of the rot happens from the top, right? And it's just like, bro, like, the last thing that I want to say on this is just like, my goodness, like, the reason your franchise is terrible is probably because of you, right? I really think that's the case, bro. Like, you got no reason to throw this young man under the bus just because his dad is Deion Sanders. The man went 8 for 8 and 2 touchdowns. I think it was yesterday. Like, bro, like he's doing his best to get like to get on the field. Well, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't know if you
Listen,
guys got
listen.
anything.
I got
Whatever
nothing.
success Shador has in his NFL career, I hope it comes after he gets out of Cleveland. I don't
Right.
want them to have any kind of success with him on the team, because if he does have success, that just fattens the owner's pocket. He's gonna come out and put his arm around his shoulder. Yeah, you're my guy. I knew it from the jump. Blah blah. Nope, nope. I need Shadur to get out of there as soon as possible and go on to have a beautiful NFL career outside of Cleveland because they don't deserve it.
I
I
mean, he was saying that they're going to trade one of their quarterbacks, and he's like fourth on the depth chart. They still got Flacco. They got Kenny Pickett, who they traded for, and they actually drafted Dylan Gabriel before Shador Sanders. So if anybody is on that low end of the totem pole, working his way up, doing a phenomenal job, it's Shador Sanders. But he's probably going to get a shot with another franchise because you
I
can't
hope
take
it
that many
happens sooner
people
rather
into the
than later.
season. Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Like I don't like I usually I don't wish bad on franchises, but like to me, it's just he's a terrible owner. I don't ever want to see him lifting up that Lombardi. Like somebody else should do that. But that's all I got for you guys today. Is and for the Ops podcast, we cover a ton of stuff. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure that you like and you subscribe on your way out. Make sure you share this with some friends and family.
yes,
And by all
sir.
means, make sure you check us out next week. Same time, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Opps SportsCast. We appreciate we appreciate you guys for tuning in. So you guys be blessed. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. See you next week.
Deuces.
Peace.